Alright, so I've been playing this build for about 2 weeks now, and I gotta say, I'm in love. This is probably the most well-balanced and fun build I've ever made, so if you're looking for something fast, satisfying, easy to gear, that can do all content including delve and shredding bosses, this is for you. For the 3.8 patch, the assassin received a buff and a new 2-point ascendancy called Mistwalker. Mistwalker gives a lot of speed as well as elusive generation. Elusive is a buff which grants attack and spell dodge and movement speed that decays over time. The elusive buffs can be scaled, and this is what we're taking advantage of in this build with the new unique amulet, Badge of the Brotherhood, as well as void batteries, allowing us to reach pretty obscene effect of elusive, giving us up to 64% dodge and spell dodge, as well as a lot of movement speed. Note that there is a lot of ways to gear up this character, and I won't be covering all of them, but just the setup I've been using myself for those past 2 weeks to farm all content, including 30 Uber Elders. Alright, here he goes. In the weapon slot, void batteries here are a must. It can be pretty costly, but at 9 power charges, it gives us an extra 290 spell damage, as well as some good cast speed, spell crit, and well, power charges, which we need. In the first one, I'm using Withering Step, Enhance, and Flame Dash. In the other one, Steel Skin, Increased Duration, and Vol Righteous Fire. For your helmet, this one I went with the Devouring Diadem to put my auras in and be able to reserve all my mana and not worry at all about mana regen. The gem setup here is Hatred, Zealotry, Enlighten level 3, and Stone Golem. In terms of Ancient, you're looking for either any Blade Vortex Ancient, or Aura Mana Reservation, or maybe Elusive Buff Effect. But the best option here is a Corrupted one with +1 power charge, but it's not needed at all. It's pretty much just a flex item, but gives a lot of damage. On her neck, we want the new Blight exclusive Badge of the Brotherhood. Since we have a way of generating frenzies on kill, we get up to 10 power and frenzy charges, as well as a really juiced up elusive. It's build enabling, a must have, and a truly amazing item. You really want a 10% roll on effective elusive. Here I went with Overcharge Anointment, which is pretty cheap, and also allows us to save 4 points so we can get more life. Disciple of the Slaughter or Freedom of Movements are amazing choices too. For the chest piece, I'm a huge fan of Carcass Jack. It makes your BV decently large and helps a lot with your Hero Device AoE and Chain Explosions. The 6-link setup that I recommend is Volt Blade Vortex, Control Destruction, Unleash, Power Charge on Crit, Ice Bite, and Intensify. For the single target, I swap Ice Bite and Intensify with Hypothermia and Concentrated Effect. On the 5-link, I recommend not using Intensify and swap the Power Charge on Crit for a Conk effect for single target. Because this is a very well-known fact that Exiles in Rare class only have 2 fingers, those are the rings that I recommend. First, very important, build enabling, a Circle of Fear, with at least 36% Herald Device mana reservation. If you only have a 36% and not 39 or 40, use a Conqueror's Efficiency if you cannot use all your auras for extra mana reserve. Cold Damage or a Herald Buff Effect are 2 very good choices for a second stat. For your other ring, you just want a lot of life, res, damage, or a big Precursor's Emblem if you're a big boy, but you don't need my guidance for this. For gloves, I went with the Temple mod of Puhu Arte that gives damage against shield enemies, a lot of life, and resists. You also want an open prefix so you can craft 25% of physical damage converted to cold. The gem setup is as follow: Hero Device, Onslaught, Increased Area of Effect, and Increased Critical Strikes. Bonus points: if you're terrible with your money, you can buy a Go or Hero Device. This is what I use, and this is fantastic. For boots, just go with a lot of life, movement speed, and res. I like the 10% movement speed ancient a lot, but it's not needed at all to zoom. In them, I socket a level 1 cast when damage taken with a level 1 Web of Conviction, Frostbite level 5 at most, and Cutting Strike. When it comes to your belt, there is only one true choice, which is a Viscous Leech for mapping, as Rampage is a pretty big deal when it comes to speed, and a rare belt with life, damage, and res for bossing. I do not have a drinking problem, but I like my flasks a lot. Here we want a Bubbling Divine Flask of Staunching, an Osiris Promise that gives us damage, leech, and chaos res, it's great, a Chemist Sulfur Flask of Heat, an Alchemist Quartz Flask of Warding, and finally the classic Alchemist Quicksilver Flask of Adrenaline, 30% if you can. In the jewel department, I recommend at the very least a Watcher's Eye Hatred Conversion and a Conqueror's Efficiency if you only have a 36% ring. For the other slots, you're just looking for maximum life, critical strike multiplier, spell damage, and resists if you need them. My tree looks something like this. It has a lot of life. We're at 206% here, which is a lot for a caster build, but this guy's survivability is pretty high for this level of clear speed and damage. In terms of Ascendancy, I recommend going for Mistwalker first, into Unstable Infusion, followed by Deadly Infusion, and finally Opportunistic. For my Bandits, as almost always, I helped Alira. My favorite Pantheon setup at the moment is Upgraded Soul of Lunaris and Garakan, but you should use others as well, depending on the situation and content you're farming. As for leveling, I recommend the classic Orbostorm Frostbomb until level 12, then Orbostorm Arc until level 38, at which point you can finally start using VolBV in this 6-link setup. VolBV, Efficacy, Unleash, Ice Bite, Control Destruction, and Power Charge on crit. At this stage, you can also use Storm Prisons as your weapons, so you have a bunch of power charges already and get to experience the big crits. And this is it for this video. I hope you'll enjoy the build, and if you want to see me destroy content on Twitch, you can throw me a follow at twitch.tv/SOMAYD. Peace!